Welcome to my channel Althera Health. What if I told you that one simple food, something you've probably seen 100 times, maybe even ignored at your local market, has the potential to repair your DNA, calm chronic inflammation, and quietly protect your body from some of the most dangerous diseases of our time? It sounds unbelievable, right? Because we've been taught that healing only comes from expensive treatments, complicated routines, or lifelong medications. But what if the real power has been sitting on your plate all along? Today we're diving deep into the science, the truth, and the hidden power behind one extraordinary food that researchers are now linking to cellular repair. Anti-aging and inflammation control. This isn't hype. This isn't a trend. This is backed by real biological mechanisms happening inside your body right now. And by the end of this video, you might look at your daily meals very differently. Let's begin. Inside your body every second, millions of cells are working tirelessly to keep you alive. Your DNA, the very blueprint of your life, is constantly under attack. Pollution, stress, poor diet, toxins, even lack of sleep, all of these create tiny damages in your DNA strands. Now here's the scary part. When your DNA gets damaged and isn't properly repaired, it can lead to accelerated aging, chronic inflammation, and even serious diseases like cancer, heart disease, and neurodegeneration. But your body is not helpless. It has its own built-in repair system. Tiny molecular machines constantly scan your DNA, fixing errors, correcting mutations, and maintaining stability. However, this system needs support. It needs the right nutrients, the right environment, and this is where one powerful food enters the story. A food so rich in natural compounds that it activates your body's own defense systems, enhances DNA repair, and fights inflammation at its root. We're talking about something ancient, something simple, yet incredibly powerful. Turmeric, yes, that golden spice sitting quietly in your kitchen. But don't underestimate it, because inside turmeric lies a compound called curcumin, and this is where the magic begins. Curcumin is one of the most studied natural compounds in modern science. Researchers have spent decades analyzing its effects on the human body, and the results are nothing short of remarkable. Curcumin doesn't just act like a regular antioxidant, it goes deeper. It interacts directly with your cells, your genes, even your DNA repair pathways. Studies suggest that curcumin can influence gene expression, turning on protective genes and turning off harmful ones. It helps activate proteins responsible for repairing damaged DNA, ensuring your cells stay healthy and functional. Imagine that. A natural compound that doesn't just support your health, but actually communicates with your genetic system. And it doesn't stop there. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest hidden killers in the modern world. You may not feel it immediately, but over time, it silently damages your tissues, your organs, your blood vessels. It's linked to almost every major disease: heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and what makes inflammation so dangerous is that it often goes unnoticed until it's too late. But curcumin has been shown to be a powerful anti-inflammatory agent. It works by blocking molecules like NF-κB, which play a major role in triggering inflammation inside the body. In simple terms, it helps switch off the internal fire before it spreads. And that's why so many researchers are now calling turmeric one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory foods on the planet. But here's something most people don't know. It's not just about eating turmeric. It's about how your body absorbs it. Curcumin on its own has low bioavailability. That means your body doesn't absorb it very efficiently unless it's combined with something else. And this is where a simple trick changes everything: black pepper. Yes, just a pinch of black pepper can increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between a mild effect and a powerful biological impact. This combination has been used for centuries in traditional medicine, long before modern science caught up. Now let's go even deeper. One of the most exciting areas of research today is how curcumin affects something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress happens when there's an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. Free radicals damage your cells, your proteins, and yes, your DNA. Over time, this damage accumulates. It speeds up aging. It weakens your immune system. It creates the perfect environment for disease. But curcumin acts as a powerful antioxidant. It neutralizes free radicals, boosts your body's own antioxidant enzymes, and creates a protective shield around your cells. Think of it like this. Every day, your body is in a battle. And curcumin is one of the strongest allies you can have on your side. Now imagine consuming something like this every single day, not as a pill, not as a complicated supplement, but as part of your daily food, simple, natural, effective. But here's where things get even more interesting. Scientists have also discovered that curcumin may support something called telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps at the ends of your DNA strands. Every time your cells divide, these telomeres get slightly shorter. Short telomeres are associated with aging, disease, and reduced lifespan. But certain compounds, like curcumin, may help protect these telomeres, slowing down cellular aging at a fundamental level. This is why some researchers believe turmeric isn't just a spice. It's an anti-aging tool. And yet most people completely ignore it. They walk past it in grocery stores. They sprinkle it occasionally in food without understanding its true power. Or worse, they rely entirely on medications while overlooking natural solutions that could support their health every single day. Now, let's be clear, turmeric is not a miracle cure. It's not going to instantly fix everything overnight. But when used consistently, when combined with a healthy lifestyle, it becomes a powerful part of a long-term strategy for better health. And that's the key word here. Consistency, because the real transformation doesn't happen in one day. It happens slowly, quietly at the cellular level. Every time you consume it, you're giving your body a small advantage. A little more protection, a little more repair, a little more balance. And over time, those small advantages add up. But here's a question you need to ask yourself. If something this simple has the potential to support your DNA, reduce inflammation, and protect your long-term health, why aren't more people using it daily? The answer is simple, because we've been conditioned to look for complex solutions. We've been taught that health must be expensive, complicated, or extreme. But sometimes, the most powerful solutions are the simplest ones. And turmeric is a perfect example of that. Now in the next part, we're going to go even deeper. We'll uncover exactly how to use turmeric the right way, the best time to consume it, the most effective combinations, and the common mistakes that could be stopping you from getting its full benefits. Because knowing is one thing, but using it correctly is what makes all the difference. Now let's go deeper, because knowing that turmeric is powerful is only half the story. The real question is, are you actually using it in a way that your body can benefit from? Because here's the truth most people don't realize. You can eat turmeric every single day and still get almost no real effect. Yes, you heard that right, and the reason comes down to something very important: absorption. When curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, enters your body, it doesn't easily make its way into your bloodstream. Your liver quickly breaks it down and eliminates it before it can do its job. So even though you're consuming something powerful, your body may only be using a tiny fraction of it. This is where a small but powerful change transforms everything. When turmeric is combined with black pepper, something incredible happens. Black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine, and this compound can increase the absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. Think about that for a moment. 2,000%. That's not a small improvement. That's a complete transformation in how your body uses turmeric. This is why in traditional cultures, especially in South Asia, Turmeric is almost always used alongside black pepper, without people even realizing the science behind it. It wasn't random, it was wisdom passed down through generations. And now modern research is finally catching up, but that's not the only factor. Curcumin is also fat-soluble, which means it dissolves in fat, not water. So if you're just mixing turmeric in water and drinking it, you're missing another big opportunity. Your body absorbs it much better when it's consumed with healthy fats. This could be something as simple as adding turmeric to warm milk, cooking it in oil, or mixing it into meals that already contain fats. Now imagine combining all three together. Turmeric, black pepper, and a source of fat. That's when you create a powerful combination that your body can actually use effectively. This is why something like golden milk has become so popular. Warm milk, turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and sometimes a little healthy fat like coconut oil. It's not just a comforting drink, it's a scientifically smart combination. But here's another mistake people make. They think more is better. They start adding large amounts of turmeric, believing it will speed up results. But your body doesn't work like that. Consistency matters more than quantity. A small amount daily, used correctly, is far more effective than large amounts taken occasionally. Because your body responds to steady, repeated signals, not sudden overload. Now let's talk about timing. Does it matter when you take turmeric? The answer is yes and no. Turmeric doesn't work like caffeine or sugar where timing creates an immediate effect. Its benefits build over time. However, taking it with meals, especially meals that contain fats, can improve absorption significantly. Many people also prefer taking it in the evening as part of a calming routine, especially in warm milk. Not because it's magical at night, but because it helps create a habit. And habits are what drive long-term results. Now let's go even deeper into what's happening inside your body when you use turmeric correctly. Once absorbed, curcumin begins interacting with your cells in multiple ways. It doesn't just target one pathway, it influences many. It helps regulate inflammatory signals. It supports antioxidant defenses. It interacts with proteins that control cell survival and repair. And this is why scientists are so fascinated by it. Because most compounds act in a single direction. Curcumin works like a network, influencing multiple systems at once. Now think about inflammation again. Chronic inflammation is not just about pain or swelling. It's a silent process. It can exist in your body for years without obvious symptoms. Slowly damaging tissues, slowly increasing risk, and by the time you feel it, it may already be advanced. This is why daily anti-inflammatory support matters. Not as a treatment, but as prevention, and this is where turmeric becomes powerful again. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's consistent. Now let's talk about something even more interesting. The connection between inflammation and aging. Many scientists now refer to aging as a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation. They even have a term for it. Inflammaging. This means that as inflammation increases, aging accelerates. And as aging accelerates, your risk for disease increases. So if you can control inflammation, you're not just reducing disease risk. You're potentially slowing down aging itself. And this is exactly where curcumin shows promise. By helping regulate inflammatory pathways, it may help slow down this entire process. Not stop it completely, but influence its speed. And when you combine that with DNA protection, antioxidant support, and improved cellular function, you start to see a bigger picture. This isn't about one benefit, it's about a system-wide effect. Now here's something most people overlook. Your lifestyle still matters. You can't rely on turmeric alone while ignoring everything else. If your diet is full of processed foods, if you're constantly stressed, if you're not sleeping properly, then even the best natural compounds will struggle to make a difference. Think of turmeric as a supporter, not a savior. It enhances what you're already doing. It strengthens your body's natural defenses, but it works best when combined with healthy habits. Now let's make this practical. Imagine starting your day with a warm drink that includes turmeric, black pepper, and a healthy fat. Or adding turmeric into your daily cooking, curries, soups, vegetables. Or creating a simple nighttime routine with golden milk. These are not complicated changes, they're small shifts. But over time, they create real impact, and that's what this is about. Not quick fixes, but long-term transformation. Now in the next part, we're going to explore something even more powerful. We'll look at real scientific studies, how researchers are linking turmeric to specific diseases, what the evidence actually says, and where people often misunderstand or exaggerate the claims. Because understanding the truth behind the science is what helps you use it wisely. Now let's step into the world of science, because this is where things become both exciting and a little misunderstood. You've probably seen headlines claiming that turmeric cures everything, that it can destroy cancer, reverse aging, or completely heal the body overnight. But here's the truth. Science doesn't work like headlines. Real research is slower, more careful, and often more complex than what you see online. So in this part, we're going to separate fact from exaggeration and show you what the evidence actually says about turmeric. Curcumin, DNA repair, and inflammation. And some of it might surprise you. Let's start with inflammation. One of the most well-established findings in research is that curcumin has strong anti-inflammatory properties. Scientists have studied how curcumin interacts with specific molecules inside the body, especially something called NF-κB. This molecule acts like a switch. When it's turned on, it triggers inflammation. When it's controlled, inflammation stays balanced. Many chronic diseases are linked to overactive NF-κB signaling. And multiple laboratory studies have shown that curcumin can help suppress this pathway, reducing the inflammatory response at a cellular level. This is not just theory. It's been observed in cell studies, animal models, and even some human trials. But here's where we need to be careful. Reducing inflammation in a lab setting is not the same as curing disease in humans. And that's where many people misunderstand the science. Now let's talk about DNA. This is where things get even more fascinating. Researchers have found that curcumin can influence pathways involved in DNA repair and protection. It may help activate certain enzymes and proteins that are responsible for fixing damaged DNA strands. It also appears to reduce oxidative stress, which, as we discussed earlier, is one of the main causes of DNA damage. In simple terms, curcumin helps create a better environment for your cells to maintain their genetic stability. But again, this doesn't mean it repairs your DNA instantly or acts like a magic switch. It supports natural processes that your body is already performing. And that distinction is very important. Now let's go into one of the most talked about areas. Cancer research. This is where turmeric gets a lot of attention. In laboratory studies, curcumin has shown the ability to influence cancer cells in several ways. It can affect cell growth. It can trigger programmed cell death in damaged cells. It can even interfere with the spread of certain cancer cells in controlled environments. And this has made scientists very interested in its potential role. But here's the reality. Most of these results come from lab and animal studies. Human studies are still limited, and the results are mixed. Some show benefits. Others show minimal or no significant effect. So while curcumin is promising, it is not a replacement for medical treatment. And anyone claiming that it can cure cancer on its own is not telling the full truth. Now let's move to heart health. Chronic inflammation plays a huge role in heart disease. It damages blood vessels, contributes to plaque buildup, and increases the risk of heart attacks. Some studies suggest that curcumin may help improve the function of the endothelium, the lining of your blood vessels. A healthy endothelium means better blood flow, lower risk of clotting, and improved cardiovascular health. There is also evidence that curcumin may help reduce certain markers of inflammation and oxidative stress related to heart disease. But again, it's part of a bigger picture: diet, exercise, sleep, stress management. All of these play a major role. Now let's talk about the brain. One of the most interesting areas of research is how curcumin may affect brain health. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are also linked to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Curcumin has been studied for its potential to cross the blood-brain barrier and influence brain chemistry. Some research suggests it may help increase levels of a growth hormone called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This hormone supports neuron growth and survival. Low levels of BDNF are associated with memory decline and cognitive disorders. So the idea that curcumin could support brain health is being actively explored. But once again, this is not a guaranteed outcome. It's a possibility supported by early research, but still being studied. Now here's something important that many people overlook: dosage in research studies. In many clinical trials, the amount of curcumin used is much higher than what you would typically get from food alone. We're talking about concentrated extracts, often combined with absorption enhancers. So if someone reads a study and thinks that a small sprinkle of turmeric will produce the same effect, that's not entirely accurate. However, this doesn't mean food-based turmeric is useless. It simply means its effects are more subtle, more gradual, and part of a long-term approach. And sometimes, that's exactly what the body needs: slow, steady support, rather than extreme intervention. Now let's address the biggest misconception of all: the idea of a one-food solution. No single food can fix everything. Not turmeric, not any superfood. Your body is a complex system. Health is not built on one ingredient. It's built on patterns, daily habits, consistent choices. Turmeric can be a powerful addition to that system. But it's not the entire system, and understanding this actually makes it more valuable, not less. Because when you stop expecting miracles, you start appreciating real, sustainable benefits. Now let's bring everything together. We've looked at inflammation, DNA protection, heart health, brain function, and what the science actually supports. And the conclusion is clear. Turmeric, through its active compound curcumin, has real biological effects. It interacts with your body in meaningful ways. It supports processes that are directly linked to long-term health. But it works best when used correctly, consistently, and as part of a healthy lifestyle. Now in the final part, we're going to make everything simple and practical. We'll walk through exactly how to include turmeric in your daily routine, the safest ways to use it, who should be careful, and how to turn this knowledge into a habit that actually lasts. Because information is powerful, but only when you apply it. Now let's bring everything together, because knowledge without action changes nothing. You've learned how turmeric works, how curcumin interacts with your body, how it supports inflammation control and DNA protection. But the real question is, how do you actually use this in your daily life in a way that's simple, realistic, and sustainable? Because if it's complicated, you won't stick with it. And if you don't stick with it, you won't see results. So let's make this practical. Imagine waking up in the morning, starting your day not with something extreme or expensive, but with a small, intentional habit. A warm drink, something soothing, something powerful. You take a cup of warm milk, or even water if you prefer, add half a teaspoon of turmeric, a small pinch of black pepper, and a little healthy fat. This could be a few drops of coconut oil, or even the natural fats already present in milk. You stir it slowly, and as simple as it looks, you've just created a combination that supports absorption, enhances effectiveness, and delivers those powerful compounds into your system. This is not a trend. This is a daily ritual, and rituals are what shape long-term health. But maybe you're not someone who enjoys drinks like that. That's okay. Because turmeric doesn't have to be a drink. You can add it into your cooking, into your vegetables, your rice, your soups, your lentils. Just a small amount, consistently, every day. That's the key, not once a week. Not when you remember, but as a regular part of your meals. Now here's something very important. Start small, your body needs time to adapt. If you suddenly start taking large amounts, you might feel discomfort, especially in your stomach. So begin with small quantities, let your body adjust, and then slowly make it part of your routine. Now let's talk about something people rarely consider. Quality. Not all turmeric is the same. Some are fresh and rich in active compounds. Others are old, processed, and less effective. If you can, choose high-quality turmeric. Fresh root if available, or a reliable clean powder. Because what you put into your body matters. Now another question people often ask. How long does it take to see results? And the honest answer is, this is not something you feel overnight. Turmeric works quietly at the cellular level, reducing inflammation slowly, supporting repair processes gradually. You may not notice a dramatic change in a few days, but over weeks, over months, your body begins to respond. Less internal stress, better balance, stronger resilience. This is long-term health, not instant gratification. Now let's also talk about safety, because even natural things need to be used wisely. Turmeric is generally safe for most people when used in food amounts. But if you're taking medications, especially blood thinners, or if you have certain medical conditions, you should be careful. High doses of curcumin supplements can interact with medications or affect certain processes in the body. So if you're unsure, it's always better to consult a healthcare professional. Again, this is about using it wisely, not blindly. Now let's go back to the bigger picture. You started this journey with a simple question. Can one food repair your DNA and kill inflammation? And now you know the truth. No single food is a miracle. But some foods, like turmeric, have powerful properties that support your body in ways most people don't realize. It doesn't replace medicine. It doesn't replace a healthy lifestyle. But it strengthens your foundation. It gives your body tools it can use every single day. And sometimes, that's exactly what makes the biggest difference. Not something dramatic, but something consistent, something simple, done daily. Now imagine this. 1 year from now, you've built small habits. You've added simple foods that support your health. You've reduced the silent inflammation inside your body. You've given your cells better conditions to repair and function. That's not just a change in diet. That's a change in direction. And it all starts with one decision, one small step, one daily habit. So the next time you see turmeric, don't just think of it as a spice. Think of it as a tool, a quiet supporter of your long-term health. And whether you choose to use it or not, at least now you understand its true potential. Stay connected with my channel, and don't forget to subscribe because here we don't just talk about health.